This Supra is one of the most famous cars in the history of cinema, as well as in the automotive world. Today, we will tell its peculiar history, from how it came to star in the first movie of the Fast and Furious saga until its end, managing to be sold for more than $500,000. An important step to begin to know this vehicle is to know who Craig Lieberman is. A name you probably know, since this man worked as technical director in the first films of the saga, and his role in it was not only as an employee, but thanks to him, we have such iconic vehicles as the GTR R34 or the Supra, both driven by Paul Walker in the movies. Not only was he in charge of several technical aspects during the filming, but he also provided his own vehicles. Let's talk about the Supra. Lieberman said that he acquired it for $23,000 with a Targa roof of 36,000 miles on it. Within a few weeks of owning it, the car had already been through several garages. After only 3 days of owning the car, he sent it to G-Ready's garage, where the basic performance modifications were made. It had a new intercooler, a new air intake system, and a new exhaust system. After 2 weeks, the aesthetic modifications began, but not before receiving new brakes and new suspension. The side skirts and front bumper were replaced with Stillen parts. The Supra abandoned the white color to be replaced with the yellow color. The competition Mica of the Mazda RX-7, a Rod Millen spoiler was added, as well as 18-inch wheels with Yokohama tires. But this list does not end here. A yellow roll cage was installed, as well as a blue Sparco steering wheel. At this point, and with these modifications, the Supra was already generating 450 horsepower. And to finish off this first but not modest stage of the Supra's life, he took it to audio options to have a complete audio system installed. To crown this project, Lieberman spent a year enjoying the vehicle and running different shows, winning several awards along the way, including one called Sport Compact Car Ultimate Street Car, which was a challenge that combines a drag race, a crossover, and a show car in one day. This is no small feat, since it is a recognition of mastering the three most important areas: straight line speed, aesthetics, and the sporty character of the vehicle. During this time, a few more modifications were made to the car. The wheels were changed and the twin turbos were replaced with a large T66 turbo. The Supra then generated about 650 horsepower, almost twice as much as the factory version. It's not minor to mention that more than $100,000 were invested in this vehicle. The production of the movie wanted Paul Walker to drive this Supra, and this is where a certain conflict arose, since they wanted to make certain changes to the vehicle. The paint, for example, was one of these, and there shouldn't be much of a problem with it, knowing that it could be repainted later. However, it turned out that $8,000 was the cost of that paint job. Finally, as we all know, the car ended up painted orange. More specifically, a Lamborghini Diablo Candy Pearl Orange. This was followed by several other aesthetic changes, such as the body kit, the spoiler, the wheels, and the addition of graphics. In the interior, a new blue color was adopted, although the cage remained in yellow. In order to film a movie, it must be taken into account that the main vehicles may suffer accidents and will have to perform stunts to achieve certain scenes. That's why replicas of these cars have to be made. In the case of the Supra, according to Lieberman, a total of 8 vehicles were used. For these extras, models between 1993 and 1996 were used, for which the production paid almost $97,000. For the main scenes where the actors appear, Craig's Supra was obviously used, and there was a replica as support in case it was necessary. 3 of the replicas were used to film stunts, and another was used to form a buck car, which is used to film the green screen scenes. As additional data, all the Supras were naturally aspirated, except Lieberman's Supra, and one of those destined for stunts. By this point in the story, the Supra protagonist already had that huge T66 turbo, along with the nitrous oxide system that gave him about 100 horsepower, a downpipe, an intercooler, an exhaust system, a turbo controller, an oil cooler, different clocks inside, racing clutch, 14-inch brakes on the front wheels, modified suspension, and a 6-speed transmission with sequential adapter. With the NOS in operation, it reached 750 horsepower. Lieberman even dared to say that it could have reached 800. And although no tests were carried out, it's estimated that it could run the quarter mile in 9.7 seconds, finishing it with a top speed of 137 miles per hour. Its top speed is also unknown, but it is estimated at 190 miles per hour. Back to the beginning of the video. We said that this vehicle had been sold for more than $500,000. The reality is that the vehicle sold for this amount was not the main one, but one of those used for stunts. And before telling you its story, and how it reached such a figure, let's see what happened to the rest of the Supras. As for the original Supra, Craig said that he had it for another year after the filming of the movie was finished, and that he sold it for a generous offer. And while he didn't say how much, he did say that he made a profit of $185,000. Considering that he paid $23,000 to buy it, and invested at least $100,000 into it, we are talking about a price of more than $308,000. Finally, the new owner took it to the Netherlands, where he kept it as Craig sold it to him. As for the rest of the vehicles, 5 of them were used for the second movie of the saga, although severely modified and unrecognizable. Some of these were reconditioned and sold at the end of the second film. And finally, let's talk about the record Supra. On Saturday, June 19th, 2021, it was auctioned at Barrett-Jackson, the replica car, which, as we said before, was used to film stunts. It was a twin-turbo, and the only modification it had at the time of purchase was an exhaust system. And although it was used for stunts, it wasn't abused. It was even driven by Paul Walker in the scene where he shoots from the vehicle. At the end of the first movie, this was one of the cars reconditioned to film the second one. And to complete this series, it appeared again in one of the garage scenes in Tokyo Drift, having then participated in the first 3 movies of the saga. Around 2006, it was sold and kept in a private collection. It's believed that at that moment, the restoration process began, since getting several of the necessary parts would have been much easier at that time than 10 years later, and while it is not an exact replica, it is a very well done one. As expected, the auction reached a very high figure of $550,000, a price that is not surprising, considering the huge demand in recent years for Supra's A80, and being such an iconic vehicle, even driven by Paul Walker. We end the video telling that at the end of 2021, Craig Lieberman started a project with another Toyota Supra. The idea is to get a sufficiently correct replica of the original, or at least get a tribute car, since many of the parts were discontinued years ago.